Dagger, come and me want to go home. Come, Mr. Mercer Man, tell me about campaign 4. Come, Daggerheart, come and me want to go home. Hey, what's up, my nerds? It's your boy, the OGGM, coming to you from Site B at 8:10 in the morning on this Thursday, the 5th of December. Happy holidays. Thanks for joining me. In case you couldn't tell by the fact that I sang the song again, we've got some Critical Role news for 2025, which may or may not mean anything. But it's been a while since we've shone the light of suspicion on our friends and over at Critical Role. So let's take a look at all the stuff we know about 2025 and all the stuff we're guessing about 2025 and the rumors. So I gotta say, based upon the latest information dump from the people at Critical Role, it does feel that after 10 years, they've finally learned how to say things without saying anything, and thus not risking antagonizing their very toxic, fickle fan base or the rest of the people in the world who either love them or hate them. I mean, say what you will about Critical Role over the past 10 years. They have been unbelievably polarizing, and they are either the best thing that's ever happened to the hobby or the worst thing that's ever happened to the hobby, or both, depending upon your point of view. Now, we know I have a less than positive view about the Critical Role people, especially the Critical Role fans, and I've said some rather awful things about them in the past, and for the most part, in my old age, I have mellowed out. And occasionally even like what they have to say. I still generally feel that my opinions is the same in regards to them and their fan base. That said, no matter how angry the Critical Role fans I get, or how angry at Critical Role I get, nothing justifies the level of toxicity they receive from their so-called fans. I mean, shame on you, sending death threats to Laura Bailey's child? Go to hell. All right, so what do we know about Critical Role 2025 based upon their latest press dump? We definitely know that they're doing stuff in 2025. And remind you that what I said is I figure it feels like they finally learned how to say things without saying anything, thus avoiding triggering anybody. So we definitely know they have plans for 2025. It is the 10th year anniversary, and we know many of those plans involve Mighty Nine, Vox Machina, and Bell's Hells. Some of those plans involve Daggerheart, but other than that, they're playing it very close to the chest. Bravo, bravo, with a lot of, well, we're doing something. Hey, so we definitely know that there might be a video game. Of course, we know that they've been talking about doing a Critical Role video game for a while now, and the Critical Role characters from the different incarnations have appeared as DLCs in other video games. We know they've all done voice acting on several video games, so they are very familiar with the video game industry. They work hand in hand with video game creators all the time. Plus, they have access to the Amazon plethora of artists and creativities and Amazon Prime's video game market. So there's no question they're going to do some kind of video game, whether it'll be a top-down, side-scroller, roguelike, Diablo-like, platformer, MMO, who knows? But they're definitely going to do a video game, and we should see maybe something coming out of that in 2025. Again, they're playing it very close to the chest so they don't trigger anybody. Bravo. So, video game, most likely. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say they're 8. 80% chance we will have either a video game announcement or some aspect of a video game from them in 2025. Moving on to their board games. Remember, they make games, and they've been making board games and card games for a while. The two ones they seem to be focused on are their Blood on the Clock Tower, Murder on the Clock Tower, Victorian Clock Tower. It's a ripoff of Blood on the Clock Tower, Princesses at Midnight, and their other card games. So they seem to be focusing a lot on that one this year for 2025, a lot on the board game card games, but let's face it, it is easier to mass produce a board and card game than it is, say, a role-playing game. So we definitely know that they seem to be amping up the attention towards the two most successful, their Princesses by Moonlight game and their something Roses on the Clock Tower or whatever it's called game, Queens by Midnight. I don't know. They've got a board game and a card game out that they're really, really pushing. Their board game is pretty much Blood on the Clock Tower, and their card game has something to do with princesses getting their powers at midnight, and it's sort of a Sailor Moon thing. I don't know. You know, nowhere in the information dump did they mention Illuminated Worlds and Candle Obscura or Mask or Mist or whatever it was called. Those might still be playing on the Beacon channel. I don't know. I don't have access to the Beacon channel, so I don't know what they're doing on Beacon. You know, they've moved most of their stuff over to Beacon, so they're still doing stuff, I assume, on those channels. But as for the future of those, Candle Obscura, Illuminated Worlds, or anything else that they're doing that's not related to Critical Role, they mentioned nothing. There's no mention of those. So maybe they're on indefinite hold because, let's face it, Candle Obscura was a disaster, and the other two weren't very successful either, which is too bad because I was hoping to see Illuminated Worlds go into another direction, because the system Illuminated Worlds is based on, Blades in the Dark, which is a very, very good system, which is based upon Powers of the Apocalypse, which is a very, very good system, deserves, you know, that Illuminated Worlds, Blades in the Dark, Powered by the Apocalypse system deserves the chance to really break that paradigm, because Powered by the Apocalypse had a chance to be the next GURPS. It was this close. It was just missing one thing to really shatter that glass ceiling during the first few years when it was popular. But now it's kind of sort of faded away, and I don't know if that chance is still there for the Powered by the Apocalypse. But since Illuminated Worlds was pretty much just taking all the good from Blades in the Dark and all the good from Powered by the Apocalypse, it had a chance to present us with a new generic system that could have been the next GURPS. But it does feel, at least based upon the latest information dump, that they've sort of abandoned that for a while, which is fine, They've learned their lesson maybe with the failure of Candle Obscura, and they're going to refocus on the things that they know the fans want to see: cartoons and role-playing. So let's move on to the two biggies, because who cares about the other stuff, really? We want to know what's going on with the Amazon Prime stuff, and we want to know what's going on with the role-playing stuff, and we definitely want to know what's going on with Campaign 4. So based upon, again, the information dump we got from them, from their various interviews they're doing to begin the 10th year, we know that next year is the 10th year anniversary. We know they're doing stuff for the 10th year anniversary at various cons. Some of that stuff will be Vox Machina Critical Role first season stuff, where you will get to see some of the classic characters from Vox Machina. If you don't know who they are, they're the ones in the Amazon cartoon. The names I remember are Grog and Pike and, of course, Scanlan. But they're going to be replaying those characters. They're going to be replaying those characters using Daggerheart. So this is the first mention of Daggerheart. So sometime during the next year, we will see at least a one-shot of them using Daggerheart with the characters from Campaign 1. They've also told us that we will see a one-shot using Daggerheart from the characters from Campaign 2, including the incredibly popular Jester. Remember how big the Jester thing was? Everybody and their dog was cosplaying as Jester. So we definitely know that we're maybe going to see a one-shot Daggerheart, the characters from Campaign 2. We're also going to see, as part of the 10-year anniversary, a one-shot using Daggerheart using the characters from the opening scene from Campaign 2. So if you remember, the lead into Campaign 2 was this sort of flashback 1980s videotape thing where they were all dressed up like these different nerds. Sam came in with wearing a bow tie. Travis was dressed up like a jock. Is pretty much the Breakfast Club. They were just pretty much the Breakfast Club. Matt was the goth kid. So they're going to be playing those people in a Daggerheart one shot. So they're going to be playing like a Tales from the Loop type of thing. But then these kids are going to get sucked into the world of Campaign 2 and assume fantasy roles. So they're going to start as normal people, but not themselves. They're playing the characters that they had in that little live thing at the start of every episode of Campaign 2. Those characters are going to get sucked into the world of Campaign 2 of Mighty Nine and gain fantastic abilities. Like Sam's going to be a sorcerer, Marisha's going to be a ranger, whatever. I don't know. They talk about it in one of the videos. So that's at least two Daggerheart that we're going to see next year. We know that there's going to be another season of the Legends of Vox Machina, which will hopefully feature Vecna, since we got that little Vecna tease at the season finale. And we know we're going to see the first season of Mighty Nine. They've shown us the initial, some test art, and it looks pretty good. It looks as good as the Legend of Vox Machina. It's going to explore the Campaign 2 stuff, as well as spin off to explore other things that they didn't really explore during the live play. It does feel like Campaign 2 was the most popular. So they're going to be exploring that. In regards to Bell's Hells, we definitely know that Campaign 3 is about to end. And sometime within 2025, we will have the final of Campaign 3. Yes, it does feel like the last chunk of Campaign 3 has dragged on way longer than anybody had planned, and now somehow includes both characters from Bell's Hells and Mighty Nine and Vox Machina, including killing some important characters and killing a lot of gods. But based upon the last video and what we've got from the latest press dump, definitely maybe going to see an end of Campaign 3, either doing this 10-year long convention thing or very soon on the live channel, which means that they will then take a break, do some one-shots. We'll have the backup team. Many of those one-shots will include Dagger Heart. Matt Mercer made a video very much talking about the value of Dagger Heart. He said, if you want to see Dagger Heart, if you want to watch Dagger Heart, not if you want to play Dagger Heart, but if you want to see Dagger Heart, if you want to watch Dagger Heart. That's very interesting wording on the part of St. Mercer. So we know they're going to be doing more live stuff, and we believe that Dagger Heart's coming out in 2025. Or is it already out? I don't know. I think it's already out, but it might not be out. I don't know. I don't care. I've already lost interest in Dagger Heart. I think they waited too long. The only way Dagger Heart's going to work now is if they make Campaign 4 Dagger Heart and not D&D. Okay, so that's what we know about the cartoon. Definitely getting Vox Machina, maybe getting Mighty Nine. That's what we know about the role-playing game. We're definitely getting some Dagger Heart one-shots. We're definitely getting some other spin-off things. We're definitely getting an end to Campaign 3 at some point in time very soon. We're definitely getting them to see doing one-shots on stage live throughout 2025 for the 10-year anniversary, featuring both Vox Machina, Mighty Nine, and Bell's Hells, tying up all the loose ends from various storylines and preparing for the inevitable, hopeful transition from 5th edition to Dagger Heart, because I don't think they're jumping onto the 6th edition bandwagon. I could be wrong, but it doesn't make sense in any financial or social media way for them to stay loyal to Wizards. Wizards of the Coast is just too much of a negative press magnet right now. And if you're a businessman, you want to have complete control of your IP. So they need to separate themselves from Wizards. I said P. Now let's go on to the rumors, because we can't have a Critical Role story without rumors. Oh, God, no. All right, so rumor number 1, Matt Mercer is quitting Critical Role to move to Seattle and work on 6th edition because Chris Perkins stepped down. Absolutely untrue. There is no reason whatsoever for him to do that. Why would he? That's stupid. If anything, we want Chris Perkins to leave Wizards of the Coast and go work for Penny Arcade doing Acquisitions Incorporated, because he's much happier when he's hanging out with those guys than he is at Wizards. So that rumor's not true. Rumor number 2, some of the cast are quitting. Some of the cast are stepping away. Some of the cast are being replaced by newer players. If this is true, they have earned every right to step away. They have been doing this nonstop for 10 frickin' years, and they have jumped through so many hoops of negativity, including multiple death threats, and just the emotional minefield that their fan base is. And I'm guilty. I've definitely slung a few rocks at them in the past. I'm not innocent. I've said some horrible things about them, but I'd never threaten a child. I never go, gee, I really don't appreciate what you're doing to the role-playing community, Matt Mercer, so your fucking baby needs to die. No, Jesus Christ, grow up. I'm getting beeped. Somebody's coming to my door. Oh, it's delivery. So, yeah, why they've earned the right as of the latest, it doesn't feel like anybody's stepping down. Obviously, there will be a break between campaign 3 and campaign 4. We might see one shots with different people. Some of them we might see Sam run a game. We might not see Laura and Travis for a bit. Maybe Marisha and Matt will go on vacation, but none of them are stepping down. So when and if campaign 4 starts, we will see a large chunk of our favorite Critical Role fans. So there we go. Really, I just wanted an excuse to sing the song again, but that's all the stuff we know for Critical Role. You will notice very specifically that they didn't give us a lot of information, but there were a lot of hints, especially Matt Mercer saying, do you want to watch? Do you want to see? When he was talking about Daggerheart, which does to me think that campaign 4 will be Daggerheart. Campaign 4 should be Daggerheart. There is absolutely no reason I can think of for campaign 4 not to be Daggerheart. And that's it. Now I got to sing the song again. Daggerheart. Daggerheart. Daggerheart, come and me want to go home.